The longer it takes for this damn show to go on, the more makeup I'm going to be wearing by the end. Do I have sound? Let's test sound. Check, check, check. Check, 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 check. Do I have sound, everybody? Okay. All right. Here we go.
All right, we're back.
We're back, and I think we're doing good now. I was actually, as soon as like it cut off, it keeps doing this weird thing where it just cuts off, but I like ran out to tell my boyfriend how interesting this already was, and I was like so bummed it stopped because I was even, we kind of make like our dinners, we really try to like not waste, and we end up making the weirdest concoctions because I don't really have a method to it. So I'm just like, we've got broccoli from yesterday that we cooked up. Like last night I ended up making like some Indian food that I had been, and it became this like, I had Indian food, a different little thing of like peas and broccolis I had going on, and so I ended up making this kind of like mess, which we were down for. But it would be much better for me to have some sort of method. So I was so into hearing how you don't just have to take like, skins you have left over or onions you have left over or something. You don't have to use it just to make another meal. You can make something like a vegetable stock. So just already that was like changing my world.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's good that you're spending time cooking right now. And I mean, a lot of people are around the world. Even with like your stems to like the herbs, the stems are often wasted and thrown away. You can use the stems and make a pesto. So you don't actually need to like use the leaf itself. You can actually use the stems. I mean, I will, whenever I have the chance, I'll cook for you and I'll show you the way.
Yes, I need a little bit of a method because right now I just kind of, right now obviously we're not having dinners with a lot of friends, but sometimes when people come over for dinner, they just don't know what's going on because it just becomes this like mod podge of whatever I wanted to kind of get rid of because it was just a little, I really have
Crazy in the kitchen.
I can make anything. So I want to talk about why it's important to consume less. Why should we eliminate plastic and why would we want to avoid waste?
Yeah, great question. Around the world, 1.3 billion tons of food is wasted every single year. This is food that could be perfect, that we can eat. And there's nearly 1 billion hungry people around the world. So with the amount of food that we waste just in the United States, the UK, and Europe, we can feed the world's hungry people. So it makes no sense for us to throw food away. If you can't get your mind wrapped around the idea that, oh, it's just food and I'll go out and buy more. Well, you're spending your money to buy more food that you're going to end up throwing away.
Right. You're throwing away money.
You're basically throwing away money. Yeah. Basically.
Now, see, that's something people can understand. They don't like that.
Exactly.
Now that they're going, wait, money in the trash can? No likey. So that's maybe a way that we could position it as well, to know that you are feeding ourselves, and especially healthy food can become so expensive, and to throw it all away doesn't really make any sense.
No, it doesn't. $1,200 worth of perfectly edible food is thrown away in every household across America. So every year, $1,200 just thrown away. I mean, that's people's holidays. That's someone's trick. So it's just making the small changes, making the small shifts towards wasting less in the home. Plastic, do the best you can. I know you mentioned this. It's about doing the best you can, but right now it's difficult to do that. We can't focus on going zero waste in a time of a pandemic during this. We need to just focus on conserving and doing the best we can with what we have.
I'm talking to Lauren Singer later about package-free shops, and she's really been a pioneer in the zero waste. But you actually touched on something that I had as a question for her, because her and I have been DMing about it. But I want to ask you, how do we be gentle on ourselves at this time, but still minimize our impact? I think that it's probably unrealistic for at this time especially now that we're kind of stocking up on foods, to dedicate ourselves to the zero waste plan, but it's a good time to start something new. What would you say about wanting to start, the beginning of your zero waste journey now at this time in the pandemic? How would that work?
Oh, amazing. I mean, most people eat out. So you're being forced to stay at home and cook the food that you actually have. So get creative. Utilize utilize the ingredients. So like the same thing I said about the stalks of the herbs. Use those stalks. Prolong your, when you go shopping, here's one. When you go shopping, shop smarter, or buy what you need. You see a shiny product, it's on sale. Don't buy that if you're not typically used to using that ingredient in your cooking. Save and store your leftovers. Again, it's doing those small shifts, doing those small changes right now that are going to go a long way. So making friends with your freezer. My freezer, he's a friend of mine. His name is Felix. So Felix, the freezer, and we just hang out. I feed him. I put food in there. And when I need to reheat it, I just take it out. So it's just using what you already have right now and doing the best you can.
Well, this is a real question for me because this is where I'm struggling. I have not named my freezer, and I'm a pretty creative person, so I got to do that. But about my freezer, so I'm having a little defrost situation because I'm also freezing a lot. I love making big batches of Indian food. My best friend is Indian, so I get him to come over, when we can, and make these big dinners. And then I want to save everything. What's the safest way? Because we probably don't want to be using the microwave as much. What's the safest way for freezing that we want to be defrosting our food so we don't lose nutrients?
Yeah, great question. I'm not a health specialist. I'm not a nutritionist by any stretch of the imagination. But I would take it out of the freezer, let it come down to room temperature, and then warm it up if it's something that needs to be warmed up. But one tip, if you're having a loaf of bread, I recently asked my followers online what foods they throw away the most, and bread is one of the foods that they throw away the most. Save half the loaf of bread, wrap it tightly, and keep it in your freezer. So when you need it, just bring it out and let it defrost. That's one way. You don't need to warm it up. If you want to have toast, put it in the toaster.
Right. Let it do its own thing.
Let it do its own thing.
Its own thing. Okay.
That's a great question about the nutrients. I'm not sure if nutrients are depleted when freezing or taking it out and reheating it again.
Right. I definitely try to avoid, taking things to drastic temperature changes anytime. So I feel like that can be all kinds of issues. But because I've been freezing so much stuff lately, a lot more than usually I would, because I shop in I get very small amounts. I almost shop daily, usually in my everyday life, where I kind of buy what I know I'm going to make that day or what sounds good. I don't really believe in shopping for a week at a time because I don't even know where I'm going to be mentally or what I'm going to be craving. I'm also country, so towards the end of the week, I start wanting to make my dumplings, and I'm kind of rewarding myself for working hard. So on Monday, where I am with my nutrition and my diet on a Monday is very different than I can be on a Friday. So I kind of take it a day at a time. I haven't been as close with my freezer as we are now in this stocking scenario. So this has been my dilemma every single night because I'm freezing and unfreezing so many things. So I've had a few mistakes, and it's not a time that we want to be wasting. Like you were saying, it's a time to experiment, but we don't want to be experimenting with things that, if we're not used to working with these items, that we're going to mess it up, where it's going to go to waste.
Yeah, don't waste your food. Plan out your meals. Buy only what you need. Save your leftovers. And if you have leftover food, donate it to a local charity. There's apps online now that you can send food to those who are in need right now, especially during this time. And have fun cooking. Have fun cooking the food that you have. Have an experiment with the food that you have. Be creative. Which is something that I took to heart tonight with the recipe. I thought, how do I combine Indian and pizza, your two favorite foods? How do I combine them together without creating any waste? So
what'd you come up with?
Do you want to see it?
Yeah, let's see it.
Do you want to go through the process? Or
yes, please. Yeah, let's go through the process. Cool.
Awesome. So let's angle this a little differently. So I have a carrot, and first I'm gonna heat a pan with coconut oil and chop an onion. I have half of an onion. Let's see. I'm going to keep the skin to the side because I'm going to use that as a stock for later. We're just going to chop onion, dice it up, and then we're going to add that with carrots. I've already done this already. I've already prepped everything. So that's going to go into a pot. You're gonna cook that with seeds. You have garam masala,
Yum.
fennel seeds, coriander seeds, and brown mustard seeds, as well as some turmeric powder. And you're gonna cook this on a low heat until it's nice, warm, and roasting. The spices come through, and then you're gonna add some tomato sauce, tomato paste, and then some coconut milk. Now, when it's all done, you can have the curry as it is, but we're making a pizza.
Yum.
So leftover bread, people are throwing bread away. Millions upon millions of slices of bread are thrown away every single day. Just here in the UK where I am, 25 million slices of bread every single day go to waste. Makes no sense.
That's wild.
It's wild. So I thought, let's utilize, let's see if you can see it. Let's utilize the
So good.
the bread. And so we have chopped coriander right on top, a squeeze of lime juice. I'm sorry you can't taste this.
I know, me too.
So we have, there's your pizza, your curried chickpea pizza. If people want to see the recipe, I've actually made a recipe video for this on my YouTube.
That is awesome because I am definitely going. Oh, I'm so jealous. Back to my frozen doll that I made. And I wanted, now that we talked about, actually, this is a perfect little segue out, but I wanted to ask you, what would you say to someone that thinks that plant-based food can't be as fulfilling, can't be as delicious, that it's also too hard? What would you say about that?
Just eat more plants. Focus on putting more plants on your plate. I grew up eating meat all the time, dairy, cheese, and then slowly started shifting into a plant-based diet about 8 years ago, and then fell off, and then came back on about 4 years ago. Just slowly introduce plants to your everyday meal. If it's one meal a day, if it's one day a week, maybe it's 1 week. Just try it. Just put more put more plants on your plate, and get creative. Have fun with vegetables.
I agree. Thank you so much. That looks so yum. Next time you're in LA or I'm in London, we definitely got to hang out and we'll make some Indian pizza.
Definitely.
Thank you, Max.
Thanks, Miley.
Thank you so much.
See you.
Bye. All right, that looks so good. Okay, so now my next guest is Lauren Singer, aka @Trash is for Tossers, which is how I got to know her. She's really a pioneer in the zero waste movement. All of the trash that she has produced over the past 5 years fits inside a 16-ounce mason jar. She is the founder of Package Free Shop and CEO of the Simply Co., an organic vegan laundry detergent. So today, Lauren will share her expertise on zero waste lifestyle. I'm going to connect Lauren. Okay, actually, we're going a little bit of going a little around everything right now. Lauren's having some tech difficulties also with Instagram, so Lily is around, so I'm going to skip ahead. But I'm going to edit this all together to act like nothing ever happened, so just ignore this. Okay. So today we are bouncing from one incredible woman to the next. This next guest is an outspoken advocate for mental health awareness and body positivity. And in September, she'll be releasing her debut collection of poetry, Swimming Lessons, which is up for pre-order now. So let's connect Lily Reinhardt. Everyone's very excited about this.
Hi.
Hi. You're on the show on the weirdest, techiest, freakiest day ever.
I know. It's okay. It's not like any of us have anything to do.
No, everyone always wonders how do you get everyone to be on the show, and what do you do when there's tech difficulties? You guys can't do anything about it. There's nothing.
I was just waiting, just outside. It's not like I've got really anything at all to do.
No plans. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you about your poetry book, Swimming Lessons, that's up for pre-order and it's coming out later this year. Mm-hmm. It's a while away, but I know how I feel when I'm about to drop an album or a film release. I just get crazy butterflies. Mm-hmm. Are you nervous at all? You're kind of publicly just giving the world your diary.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I think it's definitely nerve-wracking, and it's nerve-wracking to read them out loud because it is such a vulnerable thing, and it is. I mean, I have like this is my journal like right here, but I write most of my poems in the notes on my phone actually, because they just kind of come to me at random times, and I'm not going to be one of those people who carries around a notebook with me. I feel like that's a little that's a little weird. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely nerve wracking. And I think I'm trying not to even think, like, I wanted to release something that I had pure creative control over. And that's where that came from.
Yeah.
I just kind of felt a little creatively stuck where I was at. And I was like, I have, books of poems and essays and thoughts just kind of sitting around in all these notebooks that I have. So maybe I should just compile them and share them with the world. So
I use my notes on my phone for everything also.
I know.
I've written everything in my phone. If something ever happens to it, it's just not good. So everyone kind of knows you now as like, you're like an actress turned poet, but I don't know if that's actually the way that it happened. Like, how long were you writing poetry for before you decided to share? Is that something that you've been doing way before you considered acting, or like, how did you become both of these things?
I think, and it's weird to even call myself a poet. I mean, I kind of look at my poems as a little bit more of just like a free flowing sort of consciousness. It's not even really, it's not like it's rhyming. I don't know. I feel like the term poetry is so broad today, but that's what makes it so beautiful. And so many people are coming out with books of just sort of like essays and commentary that they have about their own life, and that's almost what I think of this a little bit more. I mean, I do think of them as poems, but in a way it's sort of just like thoughts and observations. And but yeah, I mean, I was always an actor. I was always acting, and I think I started writing a lot a couple years ago, like 5 years ago, when I started experiencing love for the first time, and being in love, and all the feelings that come along with that, and also just feelings of anxiety and kind of dealing with fame for the first time. It was easy to just sort of put those feelings and thoughts into a notebook or something as a way of therapy. So it sort of became very therapeutic for me to write down these thoughts that I was having.
Yeah. You're an advocate for mental health awareness and body positivity. Are those subjects that you write about in your poetry? And can we read about those ideas surrounding those subjects in swimming lessons?
I write a lot about swimming lessons is a lot about love, and it's about grief, and it is about anxiety and depression as well, and not too much. I feel like hopefully if this book goes well and people enjoy it, I would hopefully come out with another one someday, and I think that one would be a little bit more body focused, or have a lot more body conscious thoughts. And this one mainly is a little bit about kind of dealing with fame for the first time, and feeling a little lost in a huge crowd of people, basically. And it's sort of a little bit leans on more of the anxiety and depression rather than the body image. But yeah, but that's definitely something that I do write about. It's something that's so relevant, and I think about and talk about all the time.
Yeah. In this time of COVID-19, it's a good time to get creative. We're not alone with our ideas and our thoughts and our feelings that often. I found myself being a lot more creative. I'm pretty external a lot of the time. So I was like digging. And the other day I just like totally cried on FaceTime with my mom for no reason for like an hour. Yeah. And then I kept saying I'm crying for no reason, and she's like, "Well, you wouldn't be crying for no reason. Let's figure out what's going on." And, it was really cool because it actually turned out to be like a really good bonding experience for me and my little sister, who's kind of, my sister's 19, or she just turned 20, and so she goes through a lot of the body positivity stuff. Yeah. More negativity because we're on in public so much that everyone, you and I have actually talked about this on DM. It's kind of how we started like talking to each other about the illusions that are created by platforms like Instagram, where people are posting unrealistic photos of themselves and
Right.
creates a distorted version of reality of like what we really look like. And
Right.
I'm like, why do I have pores and no one has pores? And like, why does my hair go farther back on one side or the other? And it's like, okay, if
Right.
you actually are around humans in real life,
Mm-hmm.
all of them have these things that make me feel insecure. But when you're just so focused on Instagram, you can get really lost and confused. So the other day I basically got lost in the illusion and
Yeah.
couldn't see myself for
I mean, it's very easy to. I think kind of the idea of Instagram is to project your best self, and a lot
live
of
your best life. That's like a literal hashtag.
sure. And I think like I have always kind of approached social media to be in the way of I don't want to show a perfect version of myself because I could never live up to that expectation.
Agreed.
Like if anyone meets me in person, they're not going to see what you would see on Instagram if I was trying to portray myself as like this perfectly put together human being, because that's just not who I am. And I think it's such a hard standard to set for yourself. I would never want to set that standard for myself. Like I genuinely just think Instagram should be a way to, I don't know, express your creativity, and you can show the highlights of your life, like beautiful things that are happening in your life. But when it comes to altering your body, I think you're just hurting yourself more than anyone else. And you're also hurting the people that are looking at your Instagram and thinking that that is a body that they can have when you're altering it yourself. You know,
Right.
it's already skinny women are shrinking their waists even more. And that to me is so frustrating because there's already so many people with body, you know, body issues, and the way that they see themselves is so people look at themselves poorly. And so if you see an already skinny person making their waist even smaller, it's like you are just, it's very frustrating.
I've definitely struggled with the body dysmorphia my entire life. Like since I was, I mean, way before like Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, that was already hard enough.
Right.
You know, and way before even doing a TV show. Like I think sometimes we use like, well, I'm on a platform, and you know, so it's harder for me because so many eyes. It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't even in this quarantine, even alone. Like I'm the biggest judge of myself. I don't need anyone else to bully me. I bully myself enough.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
my mirror and I already have this like, you know, totally confrontational relationship. Like I don't need anyone else to bully me. I'm totally fine to do that on my own. I do that enough.
Sure.
And, you know, so it has nothing to do with being on a TV show or having more eyes, because middle school was just as hard for me, you know, or even younger than that, just feeling different. And I just think it's really cool that you talk about that, because, you know, Instagram shouldn't be a place to project an illusion, but to connect for real and go, you know, these are my hardships. These are my worst days, and connect on those worst days instead of just connecting on the best days as well, you know.
For sure.
So obviously, you know, this time is like a very creative time, and I think, you know, usually we are so busy in the lifestyle that we have that there's not a lot of time just to be, you know, going inward. And so have you been doing that? Have you been writing a lot? You said you would want to put out another book. Do you feel like you're like writing things for the next one? Like what's happening?
For sure. And I don't really, you know, and I think it's dangerous to sort of start writing poems just for, you know, for a future book. Like a lot of the things that I would write, I would have to sort of like tone down a little bit because they'd probably be a little too personal. But like they need to go through a filter a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I've been writing just journaling as well as poetry. But I think I've also been painting a lot. Like I'm not a painter. I'm not good at it, but it's such just like therapy to like sit in front of like an open window, put music on and paint. I just think it's so therapeutic and lovely. And I honestly haven't even been watching that much TV. I've sort of been taking my dog on walks, and obviously staying 6 feet away from anyone I come in contact with. But you know, you could still go outside and get fresh air. I think it's so important. Don't hole yourself up in some stuffy apartment. I think just sort of like getting outside when I can, and figuring out how to meditate, which is something that I have no idea how to do, but I'm trying.
I know. Why does every thought that could ever be thought happen at the 10 minutes where you need them to?
Right. I know.
Like, I'm like, I haven't thought about this, like these random moments in my life. It just, it's like being a little kid in school again. Like all of a sudden, everything sounds more fun than what you're doing at that exact moment. But, speaking of you needing a filter, if you ever find a good filter, please pass their number to me because I fucking need a filter. Yeah. Really bad. Like, all of the time, I'm like listening to my song and I'm like, why did I need to talk about this one? Like, I just get way too personal also, obviously. But before we go, I want to know, could we get like a little sneak peek of some poetry and like maybe a little reading of some of your favorites?
Yes, I will read maybe one or two. Let's see. We'll do this one. It's a little love poem.
Okay. I need to soften up. I'm so hard. I get like, my boyfriend does poetry. He's got his poetry book coming out and he reads me the poems. And I actually made a t-shirt that said everyone hates poetry, but it's just a joke about like, it says that everybody hates poetry. And like, it just makes me kind of feel like I'm not very good with my emotions sometimes. So poetry is really good for me to read about love to like soften up a little bit.
Aw, that's cute. No, I think, poems make your heart melt. That's
yeah, really I need to melt a little.
Okay. Well, this is one. It says, my heart feels heavy today, but not because of sorrow. It feels full or swollen. It's like I've discovered a new compartment inside myself with all this room left to fill, and I'm filling it easily with you. I feel you latching onto a piece of myself that will only continue to grow as I grow. You are engraved in me, settling comfortably into my empty spaces.
I love.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's a little lovey one.
It's so cute. I need more in my life. You said you have like one or two, so maybe one more.
Okay. Okay, another lovey one, I guess. Okay. We use people, whether we want to admit it or not. We use people for moments or months or years. It's a selfish thing we do. Telling someone we'll love them forever until that forever ends after however long. You couldn't have fathomed an end when you were with them, and now you can't imagine a world in which they're still here. Our forevers are so fleeting, they almost mean nothing, so I stopped saying it. It's enough to say I love you and have it end there. I won't spoil already perfect words with a timestamp, because even forever has an expiration date. No always, no forever, just now.
I really connect with that one. I really love it. I'm so excited about your book. So it's up for pre-order right now. So it's out later in the year. And I look forward to this book and your next book and your next book and all the other incredible things.
Thanks, girl. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on the show. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Well, she is just the fucking coolest. That was so cool. All right. Okay. Let me check and see how this is going. And we need to skip around a little more. Okay, I think I'm going to try to jump over to Lauren one more time. So I really think this is really cool. Let's talk to Lauren. Actually, don't see her. It wasn't letting her request me. Let me see. Okay, I don't think it's working. So we're gonna skip around. Okay. We're going to skip around a little bit, and I'll go on live in just a little while once Lauren's is up and working. Okay. Today we're just going with the flow. That's what Bright Minded is all about. Okay, so now for my final guest, UNDP Oceans advocate, surfer, swimmer, guitarist, artist, writer, and now a published poet. This dude is starting to sound really dreamy. His poetry book, Prince Neptune, is available for pre-order and will be released this coming Tuesday, April 7th, along with the audiobook. So freaking cute. And honestly, okay, hold on. I gotta tell him already. Okay, Hannah. Okay, so for my final guest, UNDP Oceans advocate, surfer, singer, guitarist, artist, writer, and now published poet, Prince Neptune is available for pre-order and will be released this coming Tuesday, April 7th, along with the audiobook. So it is time to connect my best friend, my boyfriend, Prince Neptune, Cody Simpson. Our dog is chewing up my entire studio. Can you stop it? Hey, Bo. No. No. Come here. Come here. Oh. He's eating the. It's your baby.
Hey, baby.
Ow.
Oh, my two babies.
He's going nuts. Look at him.
Hello, my son.
He's going nuts.
Hello, my son.
Okay, go away. Oh, oopsies. Okay.
Hi, babe.
Hi. Okay. Welcome to Bright Minded. Pretty sure you're aware of the show.
Oh, very.
Okay. So, babe, thank you for being on Bright Minded. One of the things that I really dig about you is how passionate you are about so many things, and you connect them all. So you've been working with the UN for about 3 years, advocating for ocean conservation, plastic use reduction, and then turned your attention to Australian bushfire relief, working with WWF. Environmentalism is a huge focus in your life. How is it reflected in your artistry, songwriting, and now your poetry?
Yeah, it's a topic and a theme I've always tried to weave into my work. Something I've believed in quite heavily and advocated for really heavily since I was little. So it just naturally finds its way like into the themes I use in my poetry and my music. And it's just been something I've almost, I can consider it like hiding the medicine in the candy a little bit when you use, you know, environmental themes in music, especially like pop or rock music. So yeah.
So poetry, your poetry is basically like edibles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so when did you first start writing poetry, and why is it now the time to share? How would an undiscovered artist or a poet get published? Like, what's this journey like?
I first started writing when I was about 8.
Okay, hold on. Look at this.
Can you see?
Look, they're going insane.
Oh my God.
You guys!
Bean!
Cody's
Yeah.
trying to do his interview. Okay, hold on.
Your parents are trying to work here.
Hey, hold on. Wayne, you gotta go. You gotta go. Come here, Wayne. No.
I'll talk to them. I'll talk to them while you're handling the dog. I first started writing poetry when I was 8. I entered a poetry and writing competition in school and I won it. And that was when I first realized that maybe I had a natural feel for writing. And I started taking it really seriously when I was 18, when I left my record label, moved down to Venice, and I started working on the book that is now this one.
Yeah.
So it's basically just been a collection I worked on of my notebooks and collected works from my notebooks from the last 5 years. And so I guess advice I'd have for young poets and people looking to get published, for me, with my writing, I'm so passionate about it that I wanted to do it all on my own. I didn't want the help of people that usually help me with my music and releasing things like that. So I crafted and put together my own manuscript and pitched it around myself. And so ended up getting a publishing deal just on something I'd written completely on my own. And, you know, I found that, you know, the more I started to really embrace being a poet and posting about it online all the time and sending it to other fellow poet friends, people who write, people that could help me get it out to the right book agents and stuff. It all just kind of happened and developed naturally from there. So this is so weird being interviewed by my girlfriend.
I always interview you.
Yeah.
So what is the significance of the book title, Prince Neptune? Is that kind of an alter ego? Is Prince Neptune Cody Simpson's Hannah Montana?
Prince Neptune, yeah, it's like my Hannah Montana. It's like my Ashley O, kind of. It started when I developed a real interest in like Greek and Roman mythology, especially the Poseidon Neptune character. Just being such a lover of the sea, I gravitated towards that character quite a lot, and I thought it would be an interesting perspective to write from. Like I started writing from almost a place of being out of my body and being larger than life, and like saying things I wouldn't usually have to be comfortable enough or have the ability to say if I was just writing from, you know, it's almost like putting on a mask in a way.
Or a wig.
Or a wig. Or a wig.
It's like poetry is like, basically the recap of this segment is poetry are basically edibles and drag.
Yeah, you get the best of both worlds. That's what they say, right?
I get paid every time you say that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, well, thank you so much, babe. Thank you for being on Bright Minded. I've already gotten to read Prince Neptune, and it is beautiful, and I'm so proud of you. Before we go, could you read the poem about me?
Yes, I've got it right here.
Did you see where Lily was reading her poetry and I got all weird because I'm not good with mush?
Yeah, well, you're going to get even weirder now. Guys, so basically I've got one of the poems in this book is about Miley. I'm going to read it for you right now. All right. It goes, in the ancient night she flies once more.
Hold on. Sorry. I'm not distracting.
Oh, my God.
Okay, go.
Okay. All right. In the ancient night she flies once more, back to her home in the stars. I try to chase her there, but fall short, for I cannot breathe up that high, in the radiant heavens where she lingers. I can only admire her from below, humble starry-eyed poet with a desire for that which is most beautiful. And she is most beautiful. All other muses sleep in winter forests. She is the one who swims in the sun and doesn't burn up.
Babe, I'm free. I'm the most beautiful.
You're most beautiful, babe.
I was mad about my own haircut, so I had to give Cody a little makeover as well.
This is the first time I've showed this thing. She did it, by the way. She did it, guys. She buzzed it, so it's all her fault.
It's always my fault. I love you. You look so cute.
Thanks, babe.
All right, well, I'm really excited for your book. It comes out on Tuesday,
April 7th.
Tuesday, April 7th. So
Go grab it.
you can get the audiobook also, since I know it's a little bit tough to get out to stores right now. There's like digital downloads you can order online, and you can just listen to his.
Yeah, so I recorded me reading the whole thing, and the audiobook comes out on the same day as well. So for everybody that can't get out to stores and is stuck in their homes right now, I wanted to do that for them so that people could have it in their headphones as well.
Okay. Or you can whisper it. It'll be like you're whispering it into their ear like you do me every single night.
Exactly. Bringing that experience to all the fans.
I love you.
Love you, babe.
All right, I'll see you. Yeah. See you when I see ya.
All right.
Bye, Prince Neptune. He's the only one that's hung up on me first. Like, this is why I'm into this guy, you know? That's what I need. Okay, so I'm going to bounce over to Lauren really quickly. Hold on. I'm going to bounce over to Lauren, and we're going to talk about zero waste. Oh, wait, it still says unable to join. Let's see what's going on. Okay, wait, never mind. Wait, hold on. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to do that. Okay, well, it's not working, so I'm just going to sign us off. That was a great episode of Bright Minded. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. I love you guys so much. Thank you for giving me this incredible outlet to shine light on badass people and companies doing amazing things. What?
Surprise!
The first guest I've ever had on my couch. You know this isn't supposed to. This is an Instagram live show.
Crystal King, Cali Queen, reading hand, Bible saying, I'm shy. It's a golden thing she's got. I sing softly to her in the last daylight. Then the chorus of birds burst on into sight. Now I know that I've worked for whatever it's worth by the rulers in the sky. They cry. Deep blue jeans, movie screens, taking flight, flashing lights, I'm high. It's a golden thing we've got.
Yay! Cutest. Bean. Our Bean is
Bean,
going
bro.
nuts. Beans, come here, come see your dad.
Come on, come sit with us. Come on, come on.
Okay. So, before we sign off, me and Cody, we love this song by Daniel Johnston, and it's called True Love Will Find You in the End.
Yeah.
And we thought that it's a very timely song and would bring a lot of hope in this devastating time of crisis. So I love finding a song that really like resonates with the moment. And I think True Love, yeah, True Love does find us in the end. So we're gonna sing this song for you guys. 1, 2,
3, 4. True love will find you in the end. You will find out just who is your friend. Don't be sad, I know you will. But don't give up until true love will find you in the end. This is a promise with a catch. Only if you're looking can it find you. Because true love is searching too. But how can it recognize you unless you step out into the light, the light? Don't be sad, I know you will. Don't give up until true love will find you in the end.
Yay.
True love will find you guys in the end. All right.
We even made a cute little video to it like a couple of months ago, way before any of
Way
this
before any of this
panic
happened.
and fear and anxiety, and now it just felt like it's super timely. So
Wait
I think
for
we're
something
gonna-
special to come out today, maybe.
yeah, we
Drop
might
it
post
on
a
here.
little video, but we did it a couple of months ago, and it just feels like right now would be a really nice time to connect and share through music, because that's how we connect to each other a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of connecting through music, we've got one more little surprise. Cody's got a guitar change. We've got
Original production
one-
and song written by us.
Yeah, this is an original production. Cody, Prince Neptune.
Production.
Bean,
Beat might die.
Bean just fell. Sorry. Okay, so we've got a little song we're gonna sing you guys. He really just wants to sing the blues.
just want to shred for you guys. Original production, this is the latest.
He's a little more Hendrix and I'm a little more RuPaul. And together,
We are
this is what we came up with. Hey! Hey! Do you want to be bright-minded, minded, want to be bright-minded? Sometimes we need reminded, minded, time we need reminded. All we need is guidance, all we need is guidance. I'm already decided, I want to be bright-minded. Do you want to be bright-minded? I want to be bright-minded. I'll say it again, reminded, minded, say it again, reminded. Do you want to be bright-minded, minded, want to be bright-minded? Sometimes we need reminded, minded, time we need reminded. All we need is guidance, all we need is guidance. I'm already decided, I want to be bright-minded. Do you want to be bright-minded? I want to be bright-minded. I'll say it again, reminded, minded, say it again, reminded. Growing up, my dad told me at trying times, no time to quit trying. So keep smiling, keep shining. He said, Miley, wherever you go, bring the hope, and you'll be fine. Yeah! Want to be bright-minded, minded, want to be bright-minded. Time to be reminded, minded, time to be reminded. All we need is guidance, guidance, all we need is guidance. I'm already decided, I want to be bright-minded. Do you want to be bright-minded? I want to be bright-minded. I'll say it again, reminded, minded, say it again, reminded. Give me a break. Woo! Yeah! Thank you guys so much for watching Bright Minded live with Miley and today with Cody. I'll see you tomorrow for our Friday show. See you then.
See you later.
He won't because it's back to being all about me. Bye.
I'm out of here.